Hi there, my name is Memo, this is my channel Houseplanty Goodness, and essentially this is a place where I like to geek out about my big passion, which you might be able to see behind me is tropical houseplants. So if you do like this video, do let me know by dropping a like down below. It really does help me know the type of content that you guys like. If you like videos like this in general and you're really into your houseplants, consider subscribing down below as well, because every week, about 2 to 3 times a week, I'll bring out videos like this. So diving into today's topic, you might be able to see the plant I want to talk about in front of me, and I'll bring it in a bit closer so you might be able to see. This is the Begonia brevirimosa subspecies exotica. That's a mouthful. So this stunning begonia, and you might be able to see, I'll bring it in a bit closer so you might be able to see some of that foliage, is one of the begonias. And again, I'm not entirely sure. I think this might be a cane begonia, the way that it grows and the way that I'm supporting it upwards. It might also be a scrambler. I'm not entirely sure, but because of the way that the leaves are quite large and quite heavy, I'll tend to stake it upwards. But based on the fact that the leaves are kind of angel wing shaped, sometimes a bit more like the Begonia maculata whitei, I'm assuming this might also be a cane begonia. It also doesn't give me an awful lot of stress, and generally speaking, I think most cane begonias are that much easier than... Ooh, I'm trying to think about what the other types of begonias is. I'll probably remember this in editing and add it up here. Those are slightly trickier. But this plant is an example of what happens when you release apical dominance. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I have posted a video on here a few months back. I'm not sure if it was on here or on my Instagram profile. My Instagram profile, if you want to follow me on there as well, is down below in the description, but it's essentially at TrojanKing9 on Instagram. Please come and find me there as well. I've got different types of content on there as well, and there's a great little community growing there as well. Now, as I mentioned, this is one that I wanted to give as an example of what happens when you release apical dominance. And I don't know whether or not you might be able to see, but right there, and I'll see if I can bring it in a bit closer, right there is the stem that I cut probably a couple of months ago. And then all of this happened. So it was growing really lanky and really tall, and it was becoming quite heavy. And essentially, when I say cut, it snapped. So I tried to propagate that. Didn't have great success because I'm really good when it comes to propagating things like Begonia amphioxus, which grows like a weed in my care. And usually with that one, I'll put it in a high humidity environment, give it plenty of light, and put it in damp or kind of essentially slightly moist sphagnum moss. Now with this one, I thought I'd try something different and put it in perlite. I put it in a propagation box, so the high humidity. It had a grow light on top of it, but it also had a heat mat underneath it. And I think I may have turned it into soup. Or I'm not, I don't think, I'm pretty sure I turned it into soup, because 2 days later there wasn't very much left of the stem or even the leaves. It turned into nothing. So if I'm going to be propagating this again in the future, which I probably should take a cutting soon and try it again, I will be doing it in sphagnum moss, and hopefully I'll have better success with that one as well. But I should be able to propagate it based on quite how easy this plant is to grow. In terms of morphology, you might be able to see those really kind of pink kind of leaves. This is a very deep pink. Think less Barbie pink and more deep pink. And you see some of this dark veining that almost looks black, but it's actually a very, very dark green. And if I bring you to have a look at the back of the leaves as well, hopefully that might focus, you might be able to see the backs of the leaves as well are not necessarily a pinkish color, but a bit more of a burgundy color to them. Stems, as I mentioned, very similar to a cane begonia. And yeah, I've got this in a plastic pot, a clear plastic pot, because I want to be able to see the soil and I want to be able to see the roots. And the soil that I've got it in is my usual aroid soil mix. If you want to know what I use for that, there is another video on my channel. I will also post down below the link to my link tree where it's got all the different ingredients that I use for my soil. And yeah, I think with this one, essentially I just wanted to show what can happen when you release the apical dominance, because instead of one stem, I've now got 1, 2, 3, 4 stems growing on here. And I think if I cut it again, it will bush up even more. Don't know if I want to do that necessarily because it's going sideways and I don't have an awful lot of space in my conservatory slash hothouse. But Very, very cool plant. Probably one of the easier, rare or uncommon begonias to find, at least I've found. I've never grown this outside of a humid environment like a conservatory or a plant room, but based on how it responds generally, I would assume this is relatively hardy. Take that with a pinch of salt because I haven't actually tried it. But this might be one that, as long as your humidity in your household doesn't drop too drastically, this might do okay. So possibly one to try out. I know they're not easy to come by necessarily. I got this as a bit of a rooted cutting on eBay, if I'm not mistaken, almost a year ago. And it's consistently brought out huge leaves. And if I do a K-Leel and head test in terms of that leaf, you'll be able to see it's pretty much the size of my head, maybe a slightly bigger as well. So very much an impressive, showy begonia for sure. And yeah, I think that's everything I wanted to say about this plant. If you've got any questions, comments, do drop them in down below in the comments. Let's have that conversation. And yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed. Hopefully I shall see you here soon. And I hope you have a great rest of the day. Thanks. Bye.